Well, today turned out try to get an early start today, beat the heat and the lake crowd. I got two places I'm really wanting to check out today. One spot's like a big ridge top feral field, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. It's really hard to access. The best way to access it, because it's so close to the ramp, is it's basically right across the lake from the ramp. So basically just kind of looking for those diverse, different habitat breaks, edges. You know, if there's a big power line cut, there's an edge right there, and that's what I've noticed a lot of the deer bedding on. So yeah, pretty excited to check these out. I'm on this first spot here that's just like a big feral field. It doesn't look like it because all of this over my left shoulder is a big island, and I found the first bed. There's a lot of browse in here that's up pretty high, so I'm kind of assuming it's a buck, but I don't really know for sure, obviously. Excited to get out of that big nasty feral field. It's just so thick in there right now, and I don't know. Oh, there's spider webs everywhere. So I went off just to the east. This seems like really ideal habitat for them. It's kind of open timber, but there's thick enough underbrush where they can lay down and stay hidden, but if they stood up they could see a ways. So this is the top of a ridge here behind me. All this behind me is the top of the ridge, and it goes into that big field. As I'm walking down the ridge a little bit, I find the area where it looks the most steep, where you can see the deepest down into the valley. And that is about right where I'm standing. It's hard to tell with the video, but this is about as steep as it's gotten so far. And I walk right up on a bed. And then from that bed, there's a slight trail I didn't even notice that. There's a slight trail I can see going that way. And there's a really light trail I can see going this way. It's good to find. So I pushed off further east where I found that timber bed, and I'm probably a good 300-400 yards from that area. It's another section of timber. But basically what I was doing is just trying to stay on the same elevation line, and as soon as I entered this piece, I was seeing rubs, and I'd drop a pin every time I found a rub, and I just kept kind of staying on that elevation line, following those rubs, and boom, I finally wound up on a really big bed. Rub bed. So I kind of just followed those rub lines. And, you know, granted they were spaced out. I'm sure there's probably a few that I've missed, but they led right here. And it's facing straight north. So I would assume that this deer is probably bedding here on some type of south wind. As you can see, there's not a good view behind us here, because it gets up to the top of the ridge. It's that same elevation line where it's, you know, the top, and then it starts falling down, and this is the point where it's the steepest and they can see the most. And as you look to the north, I mean, this is all a valley. It's hard to tell on video, but you can see a long ways in here, and that's right where he's bedding. So I would assume any type of south wind, he'd probably be bedding here. My favorite part about this whole spot is I've got tree options everywhere in here. There's big trees everywhere that I could hang a set in. So I'm fired up about this. Pretty much along that same elevation line, I found trails, rubs, scrapes, you name it. That's where most of the deer sign was. I did see some human sign off that bed, but it was probably a good 100 yards away from where that buck is actually bedding, or what I'm assuming is a buck. I don't know for sure, but I feel a little bit more comfortable as to where I found the bed and where I saw those orange tags. So now I just got to figure out how the heck I'm gonna get out of here. I have to pass through all this timber behind me just to get to the lake. It's gonna be fun.